to thank everybody for their hard work over the last several months. And we have before us, Jordan handed out the House maps. He handed out the Senate maps, and he handed out the Board of District Education maps. The Senate maps and the House maps are combined into Senate Bill 563. And this morning, I want to thank revisers for getting us prepared. And Jordan, I'm going to turn to you to give a brief explanation on the Board of Education maps that we, so that everybody has seen them and can talk about them.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jordan Milholland, Legislative Research. I'm going to pull up the State Board of Education map here to show everyone. This was the map that was passed yesterday in Senate Bill 577. It is called Apple 7. And again, these packets are also available on the Kansas Legislative Research website under Enacted and Presented Plans. So this State Board the State Board of Education district map is made up of 10 different districts, and it contains Senate Districts 1, 5, 18, and 22 in District 1, 4, 6, 7, and 8 in District 2, 11, 23, 35, and 37 in District 3, 3, 9, 10, 21 in District 4, 36, 38, 39, and 40 in District 5, 2, 7, 19, and 20 in District 6, 24, 31, 33, and 34 in District 7, 25, 28, 29, and 30 in District 8, 12, 13, 14, and 15 in District 9, 16, 26, 27, and 32 in District 10. We also have a more zoomed-in map of Sedgwick County in the packet, as well as Johnson County in the packet. And then the fourth page of the packet, the fifth page of the packet is the population summary. The ideal district population is 293,788, which is the state population divided by 10. This map has a deviation between negative 1.33% to positive 0.59%. And I'd be happy to discuss it further if there's any questions or anything else you need me to address.
Thank you again, Mr. Milholland. On the House side, are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quick, could you say that range again, if you don't mind?
Yes. So the range is negative 1.33% to positive 0.59%.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I might add, for the House's benefit, as you know, drawing the Board of Education districts is the responsibility of the Senate. We had great cooperation from the minority leader and the president's office in coming up with a compromise. They offered 3 changes. One was major changes to Johnson County, some major changes to Sedgwick County, and blending of a district in western Kansas. We agreed, of course, immediately on the blending of District 33 in western Kansas. We agreed with rearranging and adjusting Sedgwick County, and we did not agree with the Johnson County changes, and therein lies the compromise.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, because that was actually going to be my question to see, because I sat in on 2 of the meetings and I'd heard the conversations. I just didn't hear all the details. So I appreciate you sharing that for the rest of us. Thank you.
Thank you. What I'd like to do now, conference, is move Senate Bill 577 into Senate Bill 563 and combine them for a conference committee report. And here's the theory behind that. The Senate maps passed with a large margin in our body, and the House maps passed heavily in your body, and the Board of Education maps passed 34-5, I believe it was, on the Senate floor. So we have a strong polarity there. So I move that we, if you'll agree to the conference committee report of moving 577 into 563. You have a minute to confer. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to ask if we'd have just a few minutes. I know we've got to be out of here by 9, so I understand. Mr. Chair, in our conversations, there was a quick question that needed to be addressed by the ranking has that, if you don't mind. He'd like to ask you that question.
Sure. Please proceed.
Chairman, my concern is that Wyandotte County in the past has had a long-serving board member that has represented not only our local school district, but school districts in her education district, and now has been drawn against another member of the same party. In looking at how we drew our maps, we chose not to put candidate against candidate of the same party. So can you explain to me why Wyandotte County was, again, ground zero for attacks in what I would consider a direct shot at our community and a voice of representation for public education?
Yes, I'd be glad to address that. As it relates to pitting party against party, we also have two Republicans pitted against each other in the Western Kansas district. I can't tell you which one, so nothing unique about that. And as you well know, these Board of Education maps are derived directly from the Senate maps, so we can't adjust lines going one way or another. So it has to accommodate four Senate districts into one Board of Education district, and that is just how it turned out.
Sure. And Mr. Chairman, I understand that, and I appreciate the explanation. I guess my question would be, did any of the Senate districts change in reference to that education district for the Board of Education? Did any Senate districts change?
Yes, just a moment. 33 and 24 combined, two candidates in the same district in number 7.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make sure I fully understand and explain my question directly. We had 4 prior senators that represented that Board of Education district. Are they the same 4?
I cannot answer that without going through an analysis. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yes. Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just to add some comments, I feel like there's some kind of false assertions attempted to be asserted into the record. There was no attack or the characterization of some type of ground zero on Wyandotte. I've got to push back pretty hard on that. There was some understanding that there was even a potential retirement in that area, so it was simplifying that process. So to assert that somehow there was some attack on Wyandotte County or some ground zero, I just think it's a completely absurd and false assumption. I just want to make sure there aren't any false characterizations put into the record in this meeting.
And it wasn't my intent to put anything in the record. Those are gamesmanships that are played. I'm looking out for the interests of my community by a strong member of public education who has been representing our area on the local level and on the state level and has done an exemplary job. And this suspicion that she may be leaving or retiring, we had that during discussions when we were doing the Senate maps as well as the House maps. And excuse me, I don't know if I call you Mr. President or how I refer to you, but there's no intent to build a record. It's my intent to ensure that our community is represented with a strong voice that we've always had. And it just chaps me a little bit that here we are again. Wyandotte County is deferring to the larger community to the south. And I mean, no disrespect to my community to the south, but we are once again been muted through the process. So that was the purpose behind my question.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that feedback. And actually, I appreciate the characterization that there's not a lot similar between those two districts, because we've had that in previous conversations regarding other maps. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, have you had a chance to confer?
Just give me one more minute, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
What's the other two?
Oh, no. The Senate. Yeah, the other 2 maps are, we already, this is the only.
Go ahead. Mr. Chairman, if it would be beneficial to your conversation, we are prepared to do a agree to disagree.
I anticipated that driving in this morning, Mr. Chairman, and knowing how this process has worked all throughout most of the session, I fully expected to agree to disagree. I mean, that seems to be the norm up here anymore. Instead of going to conference and having tough discussions, it's easier to cut the minority party out and go forward and do what needs to be done. But I appreciate that statement.
Thank you.
Then we'll accept the position.
You will accept? Thank you very much. The conference committee report will be drawn up. We'll get all 6 signatures, and I thank you for doing business, and best of luck to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.